What was Altoona before Altoona? That's a question I've often pondered. There were a handful of families living in the area, but prior to the war, the closest communities were Walnut Grove and Chapultepec. After the conclusion of the Civil War, two rural hubs, Nix and Baum, appeared. With the growth in population, roads were constructed to and from these communities. By the 1890s, interest in the mineral wealth of the area grew, and with it, a new road appeared. This route, known as Possum Trot, became the main route that would become Altoona. While it was later rerouted, many parts of it remain visible or in use today as the present Highway 132. The earliest map of the area is the 1837 La Tourette map of Alabama. An updated version was published in 1856, which shows the settlements of Walnut Grove and Chapultepec. This map also includes a road between the two. Denoted in yellow, this road is also first appearance of Murphy Valley Road, or what is known today as County Road 39. When Daniel Murphy came to the area after the Creek War, he cut a road from Jordan's Gap to his property near Oneonta at the rate of 1 mile a day. This road, the first in east central Blount County, would come to bear his name. Over the next few decades, Murphy's Valley Road would be expanded to Chapultepec and into Jefferson County. Following the Civil War, Etowah County was created and the population of Walnut Grove, Chapultepec, Blountsville, Brooksville, Gadsden, and Asheville continued to grow. Locally, two new rural hubs of Baum and Nix were founded. This increase in settlement and population led to the expansion of roads in the area. The first map of Etowah County, the 1877 Tallman's map, illustrates some of the new routes in the area. The Gadsden-Blountsville Road ran east to west through Walnut Grove. It followed the present route of D. Hicks, Highway 278, and Gadsden-Blountsville Road through Walnut Grove. Another road, known as Hopper Road, ran from Gadsden-Blountsville Road southwest until intersecting Walnut Grove Road. Today, this route is Highway 132, Samuel Chapel Road, D. Nix Road, and Nichols Road. Walnut Grove Road is shown as running between Gadsden-Blountsville Road south until it terminates into Hopper Road. Today, this route is Asheville Road, Thompson Drive, and Warrior Valley Road until it reaches Nichols Road. Warrior Valley Road begins where Hopper and Asheville Road intersect. It generally follows the same route today as it exits Etowah and enters Blount County. Murphy Valley Road, or County Road 39, is also shown in the 1877 route, roughly following the same path as it does today. Jumping forward roughly 20 years, the 1893 Blount Mountain map shows the next evolution of area roads. All previous routes are represented on the map, as well as some new additions. Since I first discovered this map, there's one feature that has always stuck out to me. In an evolution from the 1877 map, Walnut Grove Road has now split at its southern end with the intersection of Hopper Road, or today's Nickel Road. Which of these routes is the original route as represented on the 1877 Tallman's map? I used to think it was the westernmost route, the one that goes over Altoona Mountain. Today I'm not as confident about that. On one hand, the current Warrior Valley Road, from its intersection with Highway 132 to Nichols Road, has been built up, with the surrounding ground more or less being wetland. This would make it improbable as the original route, as during the wetter periods the road would become impassable. However, it also doesn't make much sense to build a road over a mountain when you can just skirt around the side of it. While there is a small gap in the mountain in this area, it still seems like the less desirable route, unless it's rainy season. Another point toward the road over the mountain being the older route can be explained by the rise in the exploitation of coal in the area between 1877 and 1893. The geological report on Blount Mountain published in 1892 reveals that Zach Payne and James Smith both mined coal from this part of the mountain. The road revealed on the map may not have been the main thoroughfare, but a road that provided access to and from these coal mines. I've searched early deeds and land records for years hoping to find a reference to the road over the mountain or the present Warrior Valley route. Unfortunately, I've not found a reference to either in the early deeds, and the exact route, use, and age of each one remains a mystery. Another new road that appears on the 1893 map is an extension of the earlier Hopper Road. It extends from Samuel's Chapel Road, continuing westward over the river and through what is today Altoona before exiting into Blount County. This route generally follows the present Highway 132 with a few deviations. While the 1893 map does not give a route name, this road was known as Possum Trot. The aqua line represents the original route of Possum Trot, with a modern map showing its parallel course with the modern Highway 132. Let's discuss the original route section by section, starting from the intersection with Highway 278 and working west. The first section encompasses Bradford Road on the east and Dr. Jenkins Lane to the west. There's not much of the original route left in this section. In fact, the only section of the route that is still in use today is Coin Lane, which starts near the intersection with Haynes Road and Highway 132 and runs just a short distance. A 1937 aerial photo actually shows the different routes that can be traced historically. The blue line is Possum Trot Road. The green line represents Hopper's Road. As shown in the 1837 aerial photo, and as previously discussed, it predates Possum Trot. The yellow line represents the construction of what would become Highway 132. State Highway Project FAS number 13-A are the plans for Highway 132 construction from the straight stretch through Altoona. This project began in 1938. The earlier project, which is seen on that 1937 aerial photo, is RS 189, which was constructed in 1937. It was likely unfinished at the time the photo was made. Continuing westward, the next section encompasses Dr. Jenkins Lane to the Locust Fork River. In this section, there's virtually no part of the original Possum Trot left, only a piece here and there where a section was expanded and developed by the construction of Highway 132. This portion of Possum Trot is easily seen on the 1937 aerial photo. This section also shows more of the original 1877 Hopper Road, which is today Samuel Chapel, D. Nix, and Nichols Road. This is a good section to overlay the route on a modern aerial photo, since the present Highway 132 is clearly visible. West End Elementary School is near the center of the photo. Due to farming, forest regrowth, and the passage of time, the original route is virtually invisible today from an aerial view. Let's take a closer look at a part of this section where the route can still be seen in the wintertime. This area is between Clyde Jenkins Farm and the River Bridge. Here is a section from the 1938 plan showing the present Highway 132 route and the earlier Possum Trot route. As you drive westward toward Altoona, after passing Clyde Jenkins Farm, look to the right and part of the old roadbed can be seen. This is best viewed during the winter and early spring. The yellow circle represents the location and direction of this photo. The roadbed is still clearly visible. Highway 132 is just to the left, out of the frame of this picture. Moving on to the next section from Warrior Valley Road to Easttown in Altoona. This includes a major section of Possum Trot route that is still visible and in use to this day. However, before reaching Warrior Valley Road, a traveler from Gadsden would first come to the Locust Fork River. The 1938 plans reveal that during this time, a covered bridge was what allowed Possum Trot to cross the Locust Fork. While it's not known if a covered bridge was in place when the route was first constructed, the lead up to the old bridge is still visible, as seen in this photo looking east near the west bank of the river. Another look at the bridge support shows a combination of stacked stones and concrete. The appearance of the stones indicates that the bridge was much older than the 1930s time period. This section also includes the intersection with Warrior Valley Road. The 1937 aerial photo illustrates how Warrior Valley, in red, used to continue its path north along Thompson Cutoff, Thompson Road, and Asheville Road as it continued into Walnut Grove. It's also worth remembering that, like the earlier Hopper Road, this route predates Possum Trot as well. Continuing westward past Warrior Valley Road, Possum Trot continued around Red Barn Curve via a route that's still in heavy use today, Thompson Cutoff and Thompson Road. The 1938 plans illustrate that Red Barn Curve and clearly shows where Possum Trot Road deviated from the current Highway 132. Again, the yellow icon and arrow represents the location and direction of this photo. This picture shows where the original Possum Trot route rejoins the current Highway 132 at the intersection with Thompson Road. As we enter Altoona via Easttown, it's worth noting what the construction of Highway 132 did to the residences and property owners along the route. Notice the movement of the different structures between 1937 and 1942 as the Highway 132 was constructed. Let's look at it one more time, going from 1942 back to 1937. The plan illustrates how the right-of-way would encompass several homes, sheds, barns, and orchards. All of these were moved, reconstructed, or replanted outside of the new right-of-way. In some cases, some of the homes were transported to completely new properties, a method that was repeated during the completion of Highway 132 near downtown in the 1950s. This section of town, the East Altoona edition, now known as Easttown, has the unfortunate distinction of being bisected twice, the first being with the L&N Railroad right-of-way, and the second time by the Highway 132 right-of-way. The subdivision plat pictured was recorded in 1902, with the far north border of the addition being dictated by Possum Trot Road. Continuing into Altoona past Easttown, Possum Trot makes its greatest deviation from the present Highway 132 route. Interestingly, a conversation on this portion of the route is where I originally heard about Possum Trot, during an interview with Mr. Howard McRae. The 1937 aerial photo shows the deviation, as the present Highway 132 runs parallel with the old roadbed. It's important to remember, during the construction of Possum Trot there was no Altoona, and the route runs behind the main part of town that we recognize today. This explains the deviation from the present route, which is almost invisible today. While no longer in use as a road, the old Possum Trot through this area still holds an easement for a sewer line and force main that travels through the middle of the old roadbed. Continuing westward, we enter the home stretch of Possum Trot as it relates to Altoona. This portion better illustrates how the route bypassed most of the town we know today, instead running behind Schoolhouse Hill. This is plainly illustrated on the 1893 map, which shows the route taking the last gap between a small mountain before exiting into Blount County. Let's take a closer look at the Possum Trot as it passed through this gap, specifically at the intersection of Lindsay Street, Ellison's Crossroad, County Road 41, and Self Street. The 1938 plan showed the original route coming through the gap and making a split. The newer side of the split continued down Lindsay Street, which would have been after Altoona was founded. The second split, or the original route, would have continued down Self Street. These plans also show two bridges and how the original route of Whippoorwill Creek was changed for the right-of-way for Ellison's Crossroads or County Road 41 today. This aerial photo better illustrates the original path of Whippoorwill Creek in blue and Ellison Crossroads, County Road 41 in black. Past this section is another portion of Possum Trot that is still in use as a road today. Known as Warrior Valley Road, it includes what is likely the most authentic section of the original Possum Trot Road. The 1885 Gaston Topo map further illustrates it and the bypass of what would eventually become Altoona. Valley is first named on the 1907 plat of Ellison's second edition. This arrow shows the location and direction of this photo, looking toward County Road 41, Ellison's Crossroads from Self Street. While this arrow shows the location and direction, looking in the opposite direction at the intersection of Valley Road and Self Street. Earlier, I stated that Valley represented what was likely the most authentic section of Possum Trot, and this photo proves why. While the route may have been more wooded and passing through more of a pasture, it would have certainly looked pretty close to this, a narrow, solitary dirt road. As Valley reaches its end, it intersects with College Street. However, originally it took a different path, one of which is hard to trace due to all the construction, earthwork, and planting trees through this portion of the route. However, this is likely the path of the original route. Let's piece together why. Altoona Council minutes from February 1932 reads, "By regular move and second, portion of the public road running through J.N. Rickles' farm and to Blount County line was discontinued as a public road by unanimous vote, this being a section of the old Possum Trot Road." Rickles, noted as the founder of Altoona, lived at the location of the Red Star, and his farm, which is both in Blount and Etowah County, is represented by the yellow line. Note that this route is shown as passing behind Rickles' house. This is due to the location of a spring, something which would have been very important to a traveler along Possum Trot. I think this also explains why Rickles would want the route, which was well out of use by the 1930s, vacated by the town council. As documented in the Sulphur Springs video, this end of Possum Trot route was diverted into Altoona around 1905. The road order also highlights the second part of the known route in this area. Further illustrated by the 1907 Miles Bain edition, the original Possum Trot route is shown in yellow, while the street mentioned in the 1905 order and later route of Highway 132 is shown in gray. From that point, it's connecting the dots between the two known portions. Remember that prior to Altoona, this was the main route. Transitioning from 1942 to modern time illustrates the construction, earthwork, and tree farm that has destroyed the original Possum Trot Road through this section. This arrow on the 1950 road plans also shows the location and direction of this photo, which is part of the original route after entering Blount County. The Highway 132 right-of-way is on the right side of the frame. The final section of Possum Trot, exiting Altoona, is largely consumed by the modern Highway 132. As shown on the highway plans from the 1950s, there was not a lot of deviation. This is also illustrated by the 1942 aerial photo, which shows the route following the modern Highway 132. However, one notable exception is just past Hannah Road as illustrated by the location of this photo. Possum Trot continues westward and continues to Oneonta. Tate's Gap Loop is one notable deviation from Highway 132 that encompasses the original Possum Trot route. The western end of Possum Trot has a utilized portion as well. When entering Oneonta, First Avenue splits off from Valley Road or Highway 132. It then re-enters the current route between Woodland Park and Alabama Power. Circling back to Altoona, even by 1912, there wasn't a way to connect downtown Altoona to Attala unless you went down part of the old Possum Trot, reconnecting to downtown Altoona by either Lindsay Street or 2nd Avenue. In fact, it was not possible to drive completely through Altoona without stopping until Highway 132 was completed in the mid-1950s. Possum Trot, while bypassing the main portion of what is today Altoona, was vastly important to the growth of the area. Its east-west connection was later complemented by the L&N Railroad before being replaced by Highway 132. However, for the half-century the route existed, it played a vital role in the development of the area. While the majority of Possum Trot has been replaced or abandoned, what remains continues as a vital transportation route in and out of Altoona.